you want this link to the presentation, it's on the next slide too. About me, I'm the high school media specialist at Somerset, de facto tech integrator at the high school. We have 3 media specialists in the district, so 1 per building, which really works well for us. I don't have any set classes per se. I team teach 2 classes, but if I have to get out of those classes, we have another teacher there to help. So I do pretty much the high school stuff. We have a middle school teacher that does too, and she's like half-time class, half-time not. So she tech integrates in middle school. And our elementary school teacher, or LMS, tries to, but she's pretty much booked up with classes. So I'll go down to elementary school sometimes and help them out with certain things that they really want to do. I coach football, head coach track. This is my view whenever I get to sit at my desk. So that's pretty much my box is a little bit bigger than this room, probably like twice the size of this room, unfortunately. We don't have a lot of space, but and my wife and kids, and that's my Miss Track and those guys and school right now, like 24/7 at the moment. But I gave this presentation at WEMTA about it's been almost 2 months ago now. It has been kind of. And basically, it's all about how do we use the video and pictures and everything to engage the students that we have. They're really their lives revolve around it, and we've seen it quite a bit. So the first thing is actually the teacher use part of it. Right now, I'm live on YouTube, and I'm doing that because we were actually, if some of you didn't hear, we were talking about swivel and how it's junk, and I hate the darn thing because it takes so much to set up all the time. Got to make sure it's charged. I got to make sure that somebody's got an account for it. And if they don't have an account and they spend time, it was a pain the other day. It's like, hey, can I have this in a half an hour? Yeah, let's try. And I ended up just using my account and downloading it and giving them the video itself. And it just kind of became a pain. So what I do, and I've been giving this to my teachers for the last couple, I'd say about a year, is YouTube Live. It really works well, and it only came out about a year and a couple months ago. So we've talked about it. And all you need is a YouTube account, and our district has that through Google, and a laptop with a webcam of some sort. Here's one of our English teachers, and this is what he does.
Yeah. However, in paragraphs 7 through 9, does she say that? No, she's just saying, hey, here's what kids are reading. The cause effect in 16, 17, because they're not asked to do anything interesting or read anything interesting. They get to college, they can't understand, they can't write well, they have 0.
So all he does is every lesson he gives, which isn't all the time, it's maybe once or twice a week, he'll give this on YouTube Live. Kids are there. Here's the one unique part about our district this year. We went to a mod schedule. We have 12 20-minute class periods, and a class can be 1 to about 6 class periods. So it can be 20 minutes to an hour and 40 minutes or something of that nature. Yep. But not all the time the kids will be there. We have conflicts where a kid might not be there for 20 minutes and then they might not be there for half the class. Who knows? Maybe they come in a little late. Maybe they leave a little early. Well, this helps us with kids missing that time. They can go back and watch it. I have probably about 10 teachers that do this on a regular basis. They post it either on their Google Classroom, on their website, or they'll go and just say, hey, look at my channel. Go find my channel for the lesson that day. So it's really helpful for us. Now, YouTube Live is super simple in the fact of when I'm done here, I just took a couple seconds, and let me show you how that worked. I took a couple seconds to go live. All I did was hit this button right here, and I said go live, and it set it up where I put a name in, I took a thumbnail picture, and I'm ready to go. Now, the one caveat to that is if you're using it for the first time, it'll take 24 hours to verify your account. Okay, so if you want to use it this afternoon, yeah, you're gonna have to wait till tomorrow. So do be aware of that. It's 24 hours, probably to verify. They don't want live people going whatever and having inappropriate content. But that would be my suggestion of what they do. Anyway, so we give this to the students and they really enjoy it. We have kids watching these all the time to help catch up. It's also good if they didn't understand it, then go back and watch it. I don't, any questions about that part? It really works well. It's super simple. Before we'd put a camera in the back of the room, we'd show the teacher. They'd have to upload it to YouTube or upload it to their Google Drive, and it just took a lot of time. This takes seconds, right? There's no more of that downloading and uploading and stuff like that. The screen itself, whatever, you don't have to capture, it doesn't have to be perfect. That's what a lot of the people get stuck on and hung up on, is it doesn't have to be perfect. As long as you hear the person and the teacher and maybe see what they're presenting, that's all you need. Okay? And I like doing it this way too, because you don't always see the students, or very rarely see the students. And then you don't run into that, the policy issues, like maybe you have a kid in the back of the class that can't be on the media. Well, okay, they're not in there. Their voice is fine as long as you don't, say, hey, Johnny Simmons over there, you're okay with that. We tell the teachers that too. If you don't want to be Google, or if you don't want to go live, we have teachers that are actually doing tutorials and putting them up there. This is one of my math teachers. He creates this with his smartphone with Google Live.
Hello there, Spartans. Welcome to another day of math video. I have 2 colored pencils. Well, I have pens. I want you to get 2 X minus 6 is my green line, and Y2.
Okay, you get it. Understand he's just actually creating these as he goes. That takes a little more time. That's why I'm not always like say, hey, if this works for you, do it. But if you want to do YouTube Live, you can do it right in class and just post it itself, right? Khan Academy is another good one. I know pretty much everybody's heard of that. It's got a lot of math stuff, especially, but it has other tutorials and things like that as well. All right, so that's teacher use of it, and it really works well. If you can get your district to do that, like tomorrow. It really works well. For us, it's specifically good because of our schedule. Any questions before I go on to the next part of it? The student.
So when you do go live, it sends a live video feed that someone could link into immediately, and also records it into and saves it directly into your channel.
You got it. Absolutely. I mean, somebody could watch it. Maybe somebody's on vacation. If they really wanted to, they could watch your class from wherever. One thing that we did, I don't know, a month ago is you do announcements on Friday, and we didn't have time because of some constraints of what we were doing. So I decided to do a YouTube live channel, or whatever, while I was moving around the school. As I changed access points, the problem was it would cut out and then pick up and cut out and pick up. So that is one of the things that we learned along the way, is when you go live, you got to kind of stay in the same spot. But yes, it'll go right to my channel within 10 seconds when I'm done, and then somebody else can rewatch it or they can watch it live. So absolutely. All right. The other thing is the engagement of this generation is all about videos. I don't know how many times you see kids selfies, Snapchat all the time. They pick up their phone, they're videoing something. I mean, I even had kids talking about Vine the other day and how they miss that. But you got Snapchat right here. It says, okay, what do they use? YouTube, Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook. I want to say this is about a year old. So they start half and half still using it, but most often it's YouTube and Snapchat, okay? With a little Instagram sprinkled in there. They look at Twitter, but not as much. It's not as graphically focused as the others. So this is what they use. So we got to kind of hit them there at where they are. Just a little timeline of all these most popular apps. Facebook, obviously, about 7 years ago was still popular. I'd say it'd be about 4 years ago was still generally popular with most of the kids. It's really taken a nosedive with the teens up in the last 3-4 years. I don't know, the kids that graduated in 2014, I'd say still use Snapchat or use Facebook quite regularly. 3 years ago, no way. I do not see anybody updating anything, doing anything on Facebook for the kids that graduated about 3 years ago. And it keeps declining. So it's just not what they use anymore. Now what's taken over? Okay, Snapchat has definitely taken over. It's because of that, well, they think it's private, but they don't. And that's our job to figure out that it's not private, tell them that. But Snapchat's taken over, but that's actually taken a nosedive now too. Now they got Visco, and you've got TikTok are some of the two big ones that they're using now. Visco is basically like Instagram, and TikTok's kind of like a Vine type deal. It's all graphically intensive. It's all videos or pictures. Other stuff on there. Obviously, Instagram's kind of went up and then stayed the same pretty much over the last 5 years. Media use here, you can see again, Instagram is more popular and Snapchat more popular with the younger generation. So 18 to 29, this one. We're more Facebooky. Okay, it's kind of what we grew up on, so to speak. And all the time I talk about how are the kids going to do these things. This is the biggest thing for me right here. Smartphones. It goes from 93% to 97% here along the board. It doesn't matter what their family makes. It doesn't matter their education. It doesn't matter anything. They have smartphones. They have access to this. It's so easy for them to create videos, okay, take pictures. They might not be able to write a paper on a smartphone, but they can definitely take a video and explain things. And I'll show you that in a minute about all the projects they can do to show their learning. So again, great slide. They all have smartphones. Obviously, they don't all, not every single one of them. You might have a handful of kids out of 100 that don't, but you can usually say, okay, here, I got a device for you to use and do that. I mean, I have 2 cameras, still cameras that take videos, and I have 2 high definition cameras that take videos, and I loan those out to kids all the time. Online time, this is 4-year difference here. It went from 24 to 47 or 45% that say, hey, it's constant. It's absolutely constant. We see that every day. Kids are on their phones constantly, several times a day. They check social media. They're online in some way, shape, or form. So let's hit them there. Let's see, Instagram user growth. That goes from when it first came out in 2009. I think it might have come out. I've got a slide here. Look. Yeah. So Instagram was actually 2010. Here's a weird one. MySpace was actually only 2003. I thought I grew up with it. I didn't. Not at all. Not even close. But Facebook then was only a year later. What else? Yep, Snapchat came out in 2011, mostly for us up here. Probably didn't get real popular until about 2012, 13. But now, like I said, TikTok and Visco. So user growth, they're all on Instagram. Again, pictures, Snapchat, pictures and videos. This is declining again. They're always looking for the new thing. Now parents are using it and clubs are using it and stuff like that. Okay, I don't like Snapchat anymore. It's not popular enough. So they go to other things like Visco and TikTok. And then YouTube content growth. There is an interesting correlation here. Can anybody tell me when the iPhone came out?
10 years ago, wasn't it? Yeah, the 10-year anniversary this year.
Little, I think 2007, they announced in 2008 it was came out. So iPhone, okay, keeps going up, and it's exploded as the smartphone becomes more popular. Okay. It's not a coincidence. They have this at their fingertips where they can take these videos. They can use that. They can take pictures. So again, we need to be utilizing that. Consumption of videos, they're mostly from their smartphones, some computers, YouTube, Netflix, live TV, but mostly YouTube. It just shows you how important YouTube is in their lives, whether they know it or not. They're always watching YouTube videos. Okay. And then here's what they're using it for. Before I go, that's more the why. Like, okay, why are we doing this? Why do I want to? You can bring that back to your districts and say, if you don't use YouTube, why should we use it? Those are the perfect examples of why. That's like your elevator talk. Okay, hey, you have all these kids using YouTube. You have all these kids with a smartphone. They're consuming these videos every single day. Why don't we use that to help them display their learning, assess them that way, instead of always doing a paper or always doing a PowerPoint presentation? What do they find on YouTube? Most of the videos on YouTube are like people's and blogs, and I'll show you some examples of that. Gaming's become huge lately. Entertainment, music, some film and animation. And what are they putting? So that's what they're putting out there. What are they viewing? Music, entertainment, people, blogs, so on and so forth. Under 35, over 35, just kind of what the differences are. Gaming's bigger for obviously the under 35 than the over 35. So what are they doing? What are they watching? Anybody heard of this game? Yeah. Anybody heard of this game? Apex Legends came out 6 months ago-ish, and it exploded. One reason, it's free. Both of those are free games, so that's why it exploded. But you can go to YouTube right now and find live streaming out there. Even Facebook has live streaming of all this stuff. Is this YouTube? Nope, this is a different one. This is Twitch. This is another live streaming service. League of Legends is huge. You go in and you can watch people play these video games. Anybody have young kids here? Like say 4, 5, 6? Okay, all right. Does anybody else's kids watch people play video games online? Yeah. My kid will go on YouTube and watch somebody play Mario. Why? We had to, like, for about a month, he started doing that and kind of got obsessed with it, so we had to go, all right, no more Mario. So we don't let him go. But they are consistently watching others play video games. I think right here is the YouTube channel. YouTube has an entire 82 million subscribers just for gaming. Right now, there's 98,000 people watching Grand Theft Auto. Okay, there's 72,000 people watching PUBG. There's 63,000 watching Fortnite. Right now, it's huge. So gaming, big thing. You can definitely, Minecraft is still a big one. I actually heard kids in high school talking about it just the other day. So that's kind of gained more traction too. And you can actually do a lot of educational things with Minecraft. We've heard about that. So lifestyle things. Basically, you have people talking about their lives. It's like it's vlogging pretty much. And they watch these as well. Some of these YouTubers.
Hi guys, it's Jen. So I've been making videos for as long as I can remember, which is a pretty long time. And a little while back, I made a video of me reacting to some of my old tweets, since I've had a Twitter for a pretty long time too. So since I reacted to my old tweets, it only makes sense to react to my old videos too.
Okay. This is teenagers
Old
doing this
videos
stuff.
too, which is going to be really, really embarrassing, but...
So she's got, on this video, 1.1 million views.
Hasn't existed for a long time.
No, she started, I want to say, when she was 13, 14, like right when the age thing. She's quite a bit older now, but she's got 3.5 million subscribers. 3.5. Tons of subscribers. I guarantee she makes $100,000 a year on this. I'll guarantee. I know a guy who does like gaming videos, and he says he'll make about $2,000 a month and doesn't have near as many subscribers as she has. Doesn't have the million. He has probably about 100,000 subscribers, and he makes about $2,000 a month.
Can you describe how they make money on that? I've never understood that.
YouTube pays for content. So when you put something out there that blows up, you get money from YouTube for that. And I surmise that YouTube gets it through advertising.
You know how some videos have an advertisement before it starts?
Yeah.
That too.
And some have mid advertisements now.
Right.
that's where they get the money, is the amount of people that actually have watched that entire advertisement versus part of it. It might be a penny, but when you're talking a million pennies or something like that per video, and you have several videos like that, it's directly to the advertisements that are.
YouTube's cut you a check.
Yep, absolutely,
Unbelievable.
absolutely.
Yep.
You
So
get
that's what
popular,
people
you
want
can make
to
money.
is
You can
YouTube.
make money.
That's
Have any
what-
of your
I think
teachers
say
that
that's
are
what they want to do.
I want to say like 200 views is about the most we've got. You've got to get way up there to get. Get that. Yeah. So the guy I know, he has an entire channel on gaming. He does and cuts videos a whole lot of times. He makes a couple thousand a month, but he'll go from like 1,000 people watching a video to sometimes it blows up and 250,000 watching the videos. Okay. Just depends on the content, right? But she made this, like I said, when she was young, on her own. She did it all and now has a ton of subscribers. And all she really talks about is her life. And that's what the kids watch. So lifestyle. Oh, this is a fun one. I don't know if anybody knows.
Don't do it.
No, I won't play. I'm not going to play it. It'll be in your head forever. She had fun, made a video, and we actually talked about this in our character ed, in our advisories, about how she got a lot of backlash for this video. Well, she became famous because of this video. And all she did was said, hey, friends, let's make a music video. Okay, sounds great. Now famous. The guy on the right started on YouTube, whether you knew that or not. I didn't know it when I looked at it. That's where he started. Okay. That's one of his first videos, is doing a Timberlake cover, and Justin Bieber became huge. And that's a lot of the content on YouTube, is all these music videos as well. Family life, a lot of people post these, like parents, they'll take videos. I do like this one, just the first one.
I think it's begun. It's begun. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas to you and you and you.
Welcome to the 2016/17 Christmas special.
Oh yeah, here we are.
Okay, that's all they do.
Yeah, here we are. Shake.
So this one has 3.7 million views. Let's see. Well, they got this 5 million subscribers. Okay. And they just video their life. Everybody loves it. What else we got? Oh, challenges. This became big kind of more on the social media scene, not just YouTube. All the challenges, sometimes it comes back up again, sometimes it goes away, but you've got people that are just obsessed with these challenges and do them all the time. I mean, not usually the Tide Pod ones, but more like you said, the fun ones. Some of the weird ones, trying to eat a spoonful of cinnamon, stuff like that. Here's the one. This video on the right is kids playing with toys. If you have younger children, they get to YouTube, they'll watch that all the time. My kids will watch that until I tell them to stop, and they usually try to limit them on that. But here's one again, just playing with toys, video games, toys. I know I talked to all the teachers in my building with young kids, and they say, oh yeah, my kids are obsessed with watching these things like this. And that's all they do. And I'm like, you have these toys. You literally have this down in the basement. Go play with it. But no, you'd rather sometimes watch that. Yeah, watch somebody else play with it. Okay. How-tos. A lot of how-tos on there. This one's a makeup one. This one's a Photoshop one. I like this one.
I'm going to start to make a new file with the default Photoshop size.
This is a way old Photoshop, so this video's a little older. But I don't know, what's this kid's age?
You get this
10? 11?
page.
Something like that?
I go to the
I have no idea how old he is, but
chose
he's 10, 11, giving a Photoshop tutorial that I couldn't do at 35. And I've used Photoshop for, I don't know, however long it's been around. But he can do way more, and he can put it out there to help people learn. So, why do we care? Kids learn differently. That's a big one. I just did a digital citizenship week-long health class thing, and the ending assignment is a PSA. Okay, great. Shoot a video, do a play. I don't do whatever you want. So I had 3 girls come up to me and said, "Hey, we don't want to kind of do a video or a play or be in front of class or whatever." I'm like, "Okay, what's your suggestion?" Okay, they made a comic. They drew out a comic. They're really good at drawing, so they did that. Kids learn differently. They should be able to be assessed differently. I can assess just the same things on all 3 of those things, video, play, comic, that I can with a paper or anything like that. So it really helps them show what they know. They're better connected. They're way better connected than we ever were. We've learned, I think all of us have learned a lot over the last, 8, 10 years to how to be connected. They're naturally that way. They gravitate towards videos and pictures, like I said, and they create this content daily, whether they know it or not. It goes on Snapchat multiple times per hour. Okay? They're doing it whether they know it or not. We have kids right now that are creating videos at our track meet last night, and just for fun. Okay? They're doing it. Why not actually have them do it for an assignment, and then give them a chance to demonstrate on their terms? Basically, one of the things, and people don't like this when I say this, but I don't like rubrics. I really hate rubrics. For content stuff, yeah. Okay, I need you to be able to show this, and this within your video. How you do that, you go. And then I say be creative. With the PSAs, I said be creative. If I see you reading out the answers to these questions or to demonstrate your knowledge, you're not going to get a good creative grade. That's very important too. Okay? Don't just show me that you know this stuff. Like, demonstrate it. It gets way up on the pyramid, way more high on the pyramid than it does just reading it off. All right, here's some examples. I got about 10 different subject areas, and I picked some examples, and they're not the only ones. It's just about 3 or 4 or 5 from these different subjects. A lot of them are good, and there's a couple subjects that are really hard to do this in. Math is one. Just sorry, I tell my math teacher, sorry guys, it's just really tough to do this in. You can do some projects, but math, I haven't found a really good place where somebody has showed, okay, yeah, I can use this in math all the time. But here's one for English. They did a project on allegory. This is some of our Somerset kids. Skip ahead quick.
Well, you're probably wondering how I got here. It's simple, really. I could probably condense it into a few short minutes for you. Well, it all started when I wanted to take out a loan. I scammed a banker, and it went something a little like this.
I got a small loan of $500,000. That is quite a large loan. Are you sure you're going to be able to pay that? It's not large for me. What are you talking about? I'm pretty sure I can pay it back to you. Okay, well, just for the bank safety, and our policy is that you need to put in some collateral, like your title to my house and your car. I think I can give you one of my houses, one of my cars. Okay, if you're so confident about this, then I will need you to sign here. I will need you to sign here. Okay. What else are you going to sign here? Just signing over the your house until you're. Yeah.
But they just cut this video really quick, and it's just a nice little spoof on allegory, and they really enjoyed it. They like putting themselves out there in these videos. A lot of times they don't like to get up in class to do this, so they just do it on videos. Other things for English, we have book vlogging, book trailers, poetry explanations. One of the big things I found is that class presentations have been cut down in our schedule. This just takes up a lot of time. What I did for the PSAs is I said, okay, I'm going to pick about 3 or 4 of them. I'm going to give you access to all of them, but I'm going to pick like 3 or 4, and we're going to watch those in class. And then if you want to watch the rest, go ahead. I take some good representations of what they needed to know and what they wanted to show on the PSAs, and I showed them that. some people really want their videos to be shown too. I'm like, hey, they don't want mine. Can you show mine? Yeah, okay, sounds great. Some don't, and that's just fine. Usually if they're gonna ask me if they wanna show it, I'll show it, no problems, no questions asked. I will not say no, no, I'm not gonna show yours. Well, unless it's inappropriate, but. What else do we got? Social studies. There's a historical character interview. One of our students did.
Hello, John. Tell us a little bit about yourself. Hello, my name is John W. Fields, and I'm currently 89 years old. I was born March 27th, W. Fields, and I'm currently 89.
You get it? Not super like creative or super put together well, but it took her a little bit. She came and talked to me about what she wanted to do, and she did it. I didn't help her very much with the actually editing of the video. She figured it out on her own. Historical recaps and reenactments, virtual field trips is a big one.
Good morning, boys and girls. Today we are going to visit a donut factory.
So they just go and they talk about Krispy Kreme donuts. One of the things I really want to do with one of my classes next year is kind of go around Somerset and talk about some of the establishments, the businesses, the places in Somerset for our multimedia class, so that the community can, we can put them up on the community page and things like that. But there's tons of virtual field trips out there for social studies and animated histories. What do we got here? If somebody's really big into animation, they can do stuff like that. I have about 4 kids right now that can really animate well, and they would love to do it. Math, Khan Academy, obviously. Geometry in the World is a good one if you want video for math. It's a good YouTube channel.
Oh, hi there. This is Ryan Malloy here at the Worldwide Center for Mathematics. In this video, we're going to discuss some examples.
Video, but he talks about acute angles.
The letters written on the page often have acute angles.
So I put that one up there because our math teachers in geometry tend to say, okay, let's go out in the school and find me all these things. Find me an acute angle, find me an obtuse angle, find me a rectangle, find me a pentagon, find me something, okay? And take pictures of it. Well, they bring it back and they put it in like a presentation. Same kind of difference right there. Instead of a video, they just put a bunch of pictures. It's really useful for stuff like that. You can use it in that way. Geometry is a really good thing for this, for the videos to use. Algebra, I haven't really stumbled across anything great on algebra. There's obviously some concepts that you can use, and your math teachers would know better on what would go with that. Number file, I know some people have seen number file before.
0, that's our friend. Yes, to a mathematician, this is a number, but it wasn't always obvious. Maths existed.
Science. If there's any place in school that can use video, it is science. I have one science teacher that uses it all the time because it's just such a great place. Right there, they're dissecting clams. And they video it and they talk about all the parts of the clam that they're supposed to. Well, it's way better than a worksheet. Okay, you're sitting here dissecting a clam and you have to fill out this worksheet with this diagram on there. Why do that when you can just video it and they can just dissect it and point to stuff and talk about it and what the functions are of that organ or whatever. Okay, works really well. If you want to do some kind of principle like natural selection, here's one of my favorite videos any student has ever done.
The wild East African prancells rushed for their lives to a nearby cave for safety as the Australian petadors chased for their meal. The prancells are all too tall and fail to fit into the cave. They are then eaten.
short pranzel runs from its predator and makes it into the cave. Many prancels later, another short one makes it in. They reproduce, and the short prancel trait passes down. More short prancels are created. As time moves on, all the tall prancels die and the short ones #thrive.
This is probably the 3 most not inappropriate girls in all of 9th grade. As they do in this Did not show them how to cut any videos. Did not show them anything about how to do this. They came up with the principle themselves and how they're going to show it, and they produced it. They put music to it. They cut it. They did everything really well. They have the skills to do this, mostly. Some of them you're going to have to help, obviously, but if you give them the tools, they use KineMaster for this one, and I'll talk about some of the tools in a minute. But they can do it. So science is a really good one. Art's a good one. Instagram art galleries. I don't have a link for that because we haven't launched on our network, and I don't know why. And I tried to get it unblocked, but they said we can't do it, and I don't know, have any idea why. But Instagram is a great place for art galleries. It's so easy. I tried to do Google, like a Google website. It's way hard to do, right? Because you got to take the pictures, upload, download, all that stuff. The new Google sites might be a little easier. The old one especially was not user-friendly. But Instagram would be great for art galleries. Take a picture of your art, put it on there, make a little explanation of what your art's all about. Here's a little one, biographies. These are really easy.
I'm Vincent Van Gogh. I was born March 30th, 1853 in Holland.
Why write a paper when you can do this? Kids are going to love it a lot more. I'm not saying writing papers are bad. They have their place, but kids can get into it a lot more. Here's one of my health PSAs that I did last year.
Let's go, let's go. Come on. Yeah! We're doing all five Olympics. Attaboy. Yeah! Looking dope, guys. Yeah.
Good chat.
Yeah. This is going on a story. Let's go.
Come in. Please take a seat. Okay. You guys know why I brought you in here today? No. Can you explain what this is?
Oh, that is my brother. Oh.
You don't have a brother, and you don't have a sister.
So you can see they have fun with it. Especially for these, you got to be very careful. And I say, there's a line, guys. This is kind of a little more mature topic. There's a line, and for this, I usually make them write a script out a little more and tell me what they're going to do because they can sometimes get a little bit inappropriate. But they love doing it. What else? What else for FIAD? You can do how-tos for sports. How do you shoot a layup? Okay, how do you do a backhand hit in tennis? Stuff like that. Physical education blogs. Anybody go to River Falls here? Anybody? No? Okay. We had something called online FIAD, or online walking. Sorry, it was online walking. Okay. You took this class and you put your, time. Okay, I did 30 minutes of walking, whatever. Okay, how about instead of doing that, you take a short video of when you're walking and explain how you feel or stuff like that. You can do that a lot easier. It's a lot more fun, a lot more engaging. But yeah, literally River Falls did online walking. Family and consumer science, obviously cooking videos, tasty videos, everybody's seen. Kitchen safety, why not instead of taking a test, they explain kitchen safety to you over a fun video. Okay? Anybody seen the Julia Child SNL skit with Dan Aykroyd? He cuts his fingers out. Yeah, something like that. They can be funny with it. Here's one of our tasting videos that our class has made. I did not show them how to cut this. They did it themselves. And we talked about good things. Well, okay, watch other tasting videos. What do you do? Okay, where are you speeding it up? How long? I don't want to see you 45 seconds of you blending eggs. Okay, I want to see that for like 2 or 3 seconds. So we talk about good things and how to edit it, but we don't show them exactly how to edit it. DIYs, obviously. Business, we've got boards up in our gym, like big video boards. We just got them this year. And that's in my multimedia production class. That's what we've been doing a lot with. Well, we also a couple of years ago got a school store. And here's one of the advertisements the kids made for the school store. This one unfortunately didn't get, it was one of their better ones. It didn't get up on the board because of the song they decided to choose.
If you like pina colada, yes, you're the brain. If you're not into yoga, if you have a brain, if you like making love at midnight, in the smooth of the cake.
So, yeah, the song, pina colada. They said no. So, all right, I was like, all right, fine. I like the video anyway. So there's stuff like that for our business classes, tech ed. One of the cool things they can do is they can explain their projects, talk about their projects as they're bidding it, show you some cool aspects of their projects, how-tos. There's a wiring how-to. How stuff works is a good one too. You got class pouring cement. Well, do a how-to on why cement actually dries hard. It doesn't actually dry. Obviously, you can pour cement into water and it'll still harden. So that's a good one too. So there's some examples. If you want to use them, go ahead, take my presentation and definitely use all that stuff. I've just been compiling it over the last couple of years of some examples of how to use video. And always find stuff that works for you. I mean, we've found stuff that works and doesn't work. Works other places, doesn't work for some of our kids, and that's fine too. So apps and hardware, what do we use? You can use iMovie. A lot of kids have Apple phones or iPhones, use it, all right? But not everybody does. So I did have to purchase Wii Video. I found once we went to Chromebooks, I couldn't fall back on the Windows Movie Maker anymore. Not that I liked it, but it worked. So Wii Video is one thing I purchased, and what are we paying? $2,500 for 500 seats, something like that. Yeah, it's not terrible. I mean, if you can swing it, Wii Video has been great. We've used it a lot, and I can take off and put on students as I want to. So every kid graduates, and I take them off, and once the other kids log back in, so like the 9th graders, if they come into the high school, they can, once they log on, their seat is created. So. KineMaster is another good mobile app. That's a really, really, really good one. I'm hoping it doesn't go pay because it really works well and some of our kids have used it. It's between user-friendly and powerful because it does have green screen capabilities. So I have the kids download that and use that if they want to use the green screen as well.
Is it iPad or is it?
I think it's both
Okay.
in both stores, both Google Store and the Apple Store. Loom is a good screencasting. Everybody's like, Screencastify! And I'm like, but if I want to take more than 5-minute video, I have to pay for it. So I said, okay, use Loom. Again, that's probably going to go pay at some point when more people use it, but it works. You can take unlimited amount of videos. Right now, you have the Loom little thing on the corner, but I'm like, I don't care. It's not going to be for production, so it doesn't matter. And then hardware, obviously smartphones, tablets, and cameras. Like I said, I have two Canon still cameras, 2 Canon video cameras. I have the green screen room. It's just, that was basically, they put up some plywood and I painted over it with chroma key green. That was it. I have a sheet too if they want to do other stuff. And Wii Video, it does green screen very well. Oh, fairly well. It's not perfect, but it works. What else do we got? Tips. I always say this: content first, creativity second, and don't worry about the rest. Like I said, I didn't teach these kids how to cut these videos. Okay, they did it on their own. If they really want to do it, they'll find a way to do it. Okay? Doesn't mean you should say, okay, you have to make a video today. I'm never in that lane. I'm always like, hey, if you want to make a video, great. This is the suggestion. But if you want to come up with something else that shows your content, go ahead, do it. Okay. All right. Any questions you have on this?
What policies do you have surrounding student having their phones out of throughout the day?
We don't have a policy.
They just have their phones out.
Yeah. We leave it up to the
What's
teacher.
your principal's name?
Shannon Donnelly.
Okay.
She will be happy to talk to you
Thank you.
about that. She will be 100% happy to talk to you about that. Now, and I might have a comic book in class. All right. Back in the day, that was a huge deal. Well, if you're teaching them how to use it correctly, it's going to go away. Some teachers, and I'm going to say this, our older teachers struggle with it because they're like, oh, they're always using their phones. But then I have another teacher that just retired last year. He was great about it. He said, you don't have your phones out in class. And they didn't. He made that expectation. Okay. Another teacher that's about 47 or so, and he, same thing. Why do you have your phone out in class? You know that's the expectation. Right? And like I always like to say to the kids, you don't stare at your crotch for 5 minutes without a phone there. So don't tell me you don't have your phone on. So yeah, we don't have that policy. They can have it whenever, wherever, as long as that's the teacher's responsibility with the classroom. We don't block a whole lot. I don't know. I would block Instagram, but we don't block a whole lot. So anything else? And if you have questions for me, if you want to email me, I'm more than happy to respond pretty quickly and get back to you. There's so much you can do. I missed the slide. Foreign language is always good. I'm a former foreign language teacher too, so I